I'm here with Gina Johnson. So thank you so much for your time today. Looking forward to chatting with you. I see who's in the background there.
Gemma.
Gemma is in the background. Good. So she's helping today.
And Jax is over here.
Awesome. Awesome.
Oh,
what a
there he is.
Beautiful day for beautiful day to be out in the backyard for sure, right?
Absolutely.
That's great. So Gina's been with REMAX University now since 2016, and started originally, you were licensed 2012, right?
Right.
So you got a couple of years on you there. That's good.
Couple.
And pretty consistent, 100% club producer, and working our way up to platinum hopefully soon. This is the year.
So yeah, 2020 is kind of sketchy. We'll see how it goes.
That's awesome. And so you tend to work a lot with first-time home buyers, and
Right.
Wanted to chat with you a little bit about kind of what works for you and what is your process. And so you want to give me a little bit of insight on why you're getting success working with new home buyers.
Okay. So I just find first-time home buyers, I'm very patient and very, I don't want to say parental, but it's kind of parental. I like working with first-time home buyers. They're very excited. They're hungry for finding out the process and how it works. I meet with them, find out what they want. Sometimes they really don't know. So I suggest that we look at a few houses and we kind of start to narrow it down from there. Because sometimes they really don't know. They have no idea until they get inside a house. And then I try to point things out to them if they're willing to do any work, if they're not willing to do any work in the house. And then the process of what happens once we write down a deal. And again, my patience comes in handy because they have lots of questions and it's a lot of information for them. And I just treat them like they're my family and how I would treat my family. And so I'm always going to protect them, make sure that it's a good home that's going to suit their needs, and they'll be happy with their purchase in the long run.
Great. Sounds like you lead a lot with education, right? And you mentioned patience a couple times, so I think that's are new home buyers needing a lot of patience?
Yes. Well, they have a lot of questions, and sometimes they ask the questions several times, and they get apologetic because they think that they have silly questions. And I always say there's no silly questions, and you never bothering me. You can ask me the same question 100 times. I'll make sure that you get it and understand it, so that moving forward you're not sitting in mystery.
Right. Well, and mostly agents will probably be watching this, and I would say that as agents we kind of take it for granted that that everybody doesn't know what a difference between a bungalow and a two-story is, and something like really simple things like that, or that you may need a deposit if you're writing an off, or things like that. So some of those simple questions that we just assume everybody knows, it's surprising that a lot of people don't, and making them feel comfortable to ask that and get that information is key, right?
Exactly. And that's the whole thing, is making them feel like they can ask anything without judgment, without a remark or a face gesture. They need to know, and they want to know, and they're anxious and they're excited. And the best day is closing day. They're so excited, and I bring them a big gift, and they're just beside themselves. So it's really, really cool. And often I get invited back over for the housewarming party. So
that's great.
It's fun.
And it should be a positive experience buying your first home, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, for sure.
Why don't you give me just the Reader's Digest version, quick bullet points of what is the process? I'm a new home buyer. How do I buy my first home?
Well, first you have to find an agent that's going to work with you, that is listening, that listens to your needs and wants. If you don't know,
call Gina. You mean just call you?
Right.
Right.
Just give me a call, and then it's about actually getting boots on the ground and having a look. A lot of times people really don't know what they want. They think they do, and then they get into a few houses and go, okay, well, I don't like that, or I do like this, and then
so first
honing
step
it down.
look at property then and try to get associated with what you're looking for?
Exactly. They usually have no idea what they want. They usually have no idea.
And then when does the budget kind of kick in and finance?
Well, it's the first question is, have you spoken to a mortgage broker? And if they haven't, then I direct them. If they don't have one in mind, then I give them a list and tell them that they should definitely have a chat first, so that we're not, you know, going and trying to buy a car without a driver's license.
Okay.
And that way, then we have something to launch from. And I usually encourage people to stay below their maximum, so that it's not maxing out their budget in case there's unforeseen things that they need to come up with.
So step one, get your financing kind of sorted and know what your buying power is, right?
Yeah.
Step two, we start looking at some property, right?
Yep, you betcha.
Okay.
Hone that down.
So now I found the perfect property. We love it. Now what?
Now we write an offer. I do the specs on it. I do comparables, see what other houses in that same neighborhood have gone for, what's listed as well, how long has it been on the market, all that kind of stuff, and write an offer as per what we feel the value would be at, and also according to their budget, right? So want to keep people away from looking in a price range that's too high. Lots want to do that because they think they can, you know, come in low, but the reality is that usually doesn't work very well. Stay within the budget.
Okay. And saying negotiation goes well, obviously we go back and forth, right? As much as need be, right?
Until
and every situation's a bit different. And then let's say we come to terms and we agree on the offer. Then what happens?
Then we have a chat. I let them know that we're going to need a bank draft and what day we're going to need it. I'll usually meet them at their bank and collect it and send it off. And then we send away all the paperwork. Then we'll get their commitment letter from the bank. And from there, then we'll book the inspection. And if it's in the case of a condo, we'd be getting the condo docs first before we even get the financing going. We get the condo docs and have them meet with a condo doc specialist to make sure that there's nothing hidden in the docs that would be unacceptable to them.
Okay.
And then we do the inspection and go over the inspection before, during, and after. Make sure that they are clear on everything. If there's anything that's safety oriented or health oriented, then we address it. Barring any issues in the inspection, extremely rare, but it does happen. Then we move forward and remove conditions. And then it's hurry up and wait for key release day.
Awesome. Well, that's great. And so I had a couple quick cleanup questions. So deposit is required on it with any offer. What do you think is a reasonable deposit for a buyer to expect to have?
Price range wise, I always go with, if it's under $500,000, it's 5,000. If it's over $500,000, we go with 10,000, and it can be an initial deposit and then an additional deposit when conditions are removed.
Yeah, so good starting point, and it'll vary depending on the deal and the situation, right? The property, but a good perspective, right? And then with the home inspection, if there's, you know, should you expect to have some issues, and how would you handle if there is some issues?
There is usually something, and it's all about, for me, it's about the health and safety. So is it unsafe? Then we will definitely ask that be repaired or a reduction in price. If it's small things like painting and things like that, it's like, well, are you willing to do the work or not? Depends on how handy people are, and if they know handy people, if they're renovation people, if they know renovation people. Every scenario is different, and it's about whether they can handle what is necessary to be done. And if not, then we pass.
Great. Yeah, I think some good insight. And so give me an idea on time frame. So from offer acceptance to the time we remove conditions, and then also from that point to move-in date, what are budgeting time-wise?
Anywhere I've seen it done as quick as 3 weeks, and as long as several months. Depends on everybody's situation. So if the people who are selling, if they need to be out, people who are buying when they need to be in. Generally though, it's 4 to 6 weeks, and it's all about timing. And I ask we always try to keep it off the first, so that if you're moving out of specifically a rental, you want to be out at least the weekend before, so that you can have time to move and clean and get ready for the new house.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for those pro tips. As you can see, there's a lot of moving parts and variables, and having an expert like yourself help with that process. Someone, again, who's patient is super important. So thank you for your time, Gina, and don't hesitate to reach out to her if you have any questions.
Thanks, Shane.